Hey YouTube, it's Lisa Bean. Happy Monday. I am coming at you with my week 43 update. And I started surgery on July 1st, 2013, weighing in at 266 pounds. Today, I weigh in at 178, so that's a 2-pound loss from last week. It actually was on Saturday, 177, which would have been a 3-pound loss. But somewhere in the mix, till today that got lost. So 178, 2-pound loss from last week. And so what's some of the follow-ups? Well, last week I went to see my surgeon and I went to see the nutritionalist. And I'll tell you, my surgeon I didn't see him. I will see him next time. So there are other doctors. She's not a nurse practitioner, but she's not a surgeon. I guess she's solely there for follow-ups while the surgeons are actually doing their jobs. You know, I don't get to see him every time. I wouldn't have thought so, but I will see him next time on my year visit, so that's cool. Some of the things, she was very happy. You know, we had a conversation. I've seen her throughout these months, throughout the process, pretty much every time. So she was very happy with the progress. She, originally my goal was written in my chart as 180, so she was pleased to see that I was there. I explained to her about my little stall that I had over the last couple months, and she says that, she said that happens to a lot of, sorry, I have like allergies going on. That happens to a lot of people at this point, especially with like 10 pounds, 15 pounds to lose. A lot of times it does happen. But, it was funny because she looked at me and was like, if you were not to lose another pound today, I consider you a success. She's like, you got to your goal, blah, 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 yada, yada, yada. But I explained to her that I was going to meet with the nutritionalist to go over my stats, because I still wasn't convinced that that's where I want to be. So, of course she told me to be weary. They're so different than the nutritionalist, because she's like, be weary of them when you go over there. They're going to want you to be in the BMI chart. They're going to push you to be in that range. Don't listen to them. Be happy. You are a success. You look great. One of the things that I found funny by her, why she said to me, you look so good. You look really good. She was like, if I was to meet you out somewhere, I would never know you don't have that weight loss patient look. And I was like, oh. And she's like, she goes, especially being in this job and them seeing people, she's like, you could point out people who had weight loss surgery, out of a lineup easily. And she's like, you don't look like that. She goes, you do not look like a weight loss patient. She goes, I would never even known that you've lost all this weight. She's like, you look good. And so that was nice to hear, it was nice. And we were just having a conversation, and she was saying she has 2 other patients that she sees that she's like, I don't want you, look, she's like, we're not supposed to talk about other people, or other things. But she goes, we have 2 people that are borderlining being under their goal weight, like under the BMI weight. And she's like, that's not good. She's like, it's not healthy. It's not good. It's not mentally or physically healthy. So she's like, and I said to her, oh, trust me. I was like, I love food too much for that to become an issue, because I just love to eat and I love trying things. So all went good with her. I think I mentioned all my blood work was good, blah, 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 blah. So that was that. So then I went in to see the nutritionalist afterwards. They're in a different building across the street. And I saw her, and it was a good visit. I will probably randomly go see her. I don't think she told me enough of something that I didn't already know. I think I was just going there for clarification or confirming that I'm on the right path. But as far as learning something new from her, I really didn't, because, doing research and reading things and seeing it was more for clarification, I guess, and just, but she was happy. She is the same nutritionalist that I saw. They have several. She's the same one that I saw, post surgery 3 times. So she kind of remembered me, and we kind of went over my numbers. Got to be honest, I kind of forget what she was doing something on her calculator at all my numbers from last June till now, and but the skinny of everything is that she's like was impressed. She was happy with my results so far. She was happy with what transpired through my numbers. She's like, I see that you've done the work. Numbers don't lie. She's like, one thing that I found really cool was that I started off with a BMI of 43.3 was my BMI. When I stepped on her scale, my BMI is 29. 29 from a 43.3. Overweight category, not far from normal. I mean, it was just wow. It was wow. And it was funny on here because there is a metabolic age. When I first started off in June, before my surgery, my metabolic, and I have to dig it up, but I'm almost sure my metabolic age was like 65. Today it's 48. So, although I'm 43, and it's showing me a little older, from metabolic age of 48 to 65, what I was, huge, huge. She said, looking at all these numbers, my fat percent is awesome. She's like, I am, my fat mass and my fat percent range are almost getting to normal range. They're out, but they're not far. So she was like, your fat percent, and she did, I gotta be honest, she did these fat percentage, she was writing them out here on her little calculator. And she was like, my fat loss was awesome. She's like, the amount of fat in my body has gone down tremendously. She did these little numbers with my fat-free mass, which is your muscle loss. I lost some, not a lot. Not a lot, people. She was like very impressed with it because I told her I do weight training, not anything crazy, but I do some weights every day. And I have for the last 5 months or so. And she said, whatever you've been doing, she's like, from surgery till now, very minimal loss of muscle. So she was impressed with that. So that was cool. And I'm not going crazy, but enough to make it not nuts. So I went down tremendously in my fat mass, and some kind of visceral fat rating has gone down a lot. All in all, she was like, I am not far from a desirable range with all those things. So that's the shit you want to hear. That is the shit you want to hear. So that was very cool. Very impressed. In my water percentage in my body is exactly right where it should be. So she knew that I was hydrating well all the time. And I told her I mostly drink water or put some of the squeezy flavoring in, or a Crystal Light or something of that nature. That's about mostly what I drink every single day. So that was cool. So now going to the eating. So we had a good conversation. She asked me what my goal was weight-wise, and I had told her 165. And she's like, a nice first goal. Nice first goal. No, not first goal. That was my end result. And she smiled and I was laughing because kind of what my surgeon said. She's like, I really would like to see you get to like about 150. If not 145, but 150. And it was funny because it was just what my surgeon was saying, that they're going to go by that BMI chart. And it was funny that she was like, my end result goal was my first goal. And I said to her, you know what? I think 165 is going to feel comfortable to me. I think anything below that, I might kind of look a little weird. And she was like, well, she's like, if that's where you feel the most comfortable, but I think you could do better than that. So it's funny. It was what my surgeon said. She looked over my Fitness Pal. She didn't have much to pick apart. She was pretty satisfied with it. There were a couple things. She definitely said she'd never called it a stall. She kept calling it a plateau. I don't know if that makes her feel better, but I kept calling it a stall. She would correct me and be like, "Your plateau," but whatever. Stall, plateau, all the same thing. But she said that that shit's gonna occur. Your metabolism plays a big role on that plateau. So she wasn't dissatisfied with my exercise routine, which I was pleasantly surprised about. But she did say to up it, but not tremendously. She's like, every day do an extra 5 minutes, add on, till you're maybe doing 2 miles right in a row, or really running out or high inclining that mile where I'm really sweating right away. She's like, that mile must be pretty easy for you by now. And I'm like, it is. I go, I really don't ever sweat. So she was like, sweat it out. Whatever you do, even if it's for 20 minutes, sweat it out. Make those 20 minutes where you're sweating the most. But she's definitely like, add some time, but she kind of crossfitted it with like, the summer's coming, you're going to be out, so you'll do your regular, routine. Maybe later take the dog for a walk or go for a bike ride with the kids. That all counts as moving for the day. So she's like, it doesn't have to be so regimented right in a row. So, she wasn't really dissatisfied with that. When she looked at my eating, my Fitness Pal, I told her pretty much what is in there. And of course, the last week I got my period. So she was kind of picking on the last week of things that I kind of cheated off, I wouldn't even say cheat, but went off my regular routine. She saw, because I have it in there. But I'm glad that she saw it. You know why? Because she didn't think that anything was wrong on my, and there was chocolate and some pizza, and like she didn't find that wrong. And it was funny because we had a conversation. The only thing she saw on there, which I rarely do, was like 2 of those days I had a double helping of my goldfish during period week. And so she picked that right off because she was like, right here, what's this? This is alarming. But I told her it wasn't a weekly routine. But she's like, my 2 helpings of goldfish were 280 calories in one sitting and like 50 grams of carbs right in one sitting. And she's like, that's not good. So, and I told her that's not often, but, and that was late at night. So she was just showing my plateau. These things all coincide with that. Having 280 calories in one snack sitting and 50 grams of carb in one snack sitting, not the brightest move in my position right now. So I got her, and then she was telling me about this, my breakfast Quest bar, to really maybe push that till later in lieu of the goldfish in the evening. So I'm going to try that. Obviously, I did not this morning because there was shit to eat for breakfast in my house. So that's what it was. But what was very enlightening with her was my eating. Just what I suspected about having a healthy relationship with food. She said, what I'm doing now and the groundwork that I'm laying down is going to help me with long-term success. Just what we were talking about, just what I talked about in my last video about what can I sustain and eat like for the rest of my life. And I just saw a video from Less of Sarah, and her talking about being 2 years out and the shit y'all cheat on. I do that now. It's not even cheating, right? So I don't look at it as cheating, because the reality is the further you get out, even I know from my first day of surgery till now, I have tried things that I would have never tried 3 months ago. That's life. That is what's going to occur. You know, eating fucking protein the rest of your life as your main course, and that's all you're going to eat at a sitting, is not going to be sustainable. And I couldn't understand. You know, everyone's talking about these videos lately and people being, you know, crude and rude and stuff. And I'm out of the loop. I don't watch a lot of videos. I watch probably the standard folks that I've watched since I started. So I wasn't sure what everyone was talking about. I did run across a video of an asshole that was talking two sides of his mouth, which I'll like to see them 3 years from now. But whatever. I'm not even going to go there. I couldn't understand what everyone was talking to. I saw this video and I knew exactly. I was just like, what an asshole. But whatever. So my whole thing about relationship, healthy food relationship with food, understanding it, and properly eating, those are my big focus for long-term success. And just what she was saying to me, we just jived. Everything was there. She told me at 9 months, definitely now, 1,200 calories. She can't believe that I was doing prior 900 at that. She's like, 9 months, 1,200 calories. Abso-fucking-lutely 1,200 calories. Yes. That's why my body's coming to a plateau. It is not getting enough fuel. End of story. She's like, if I up my exercise tremendously to what it is now, if I double it or whatever, to come back see her, we'll talk about upping it again. But at this point, with the amount of exercise I do, 1,200 calories. Don't go above that, but 1,200 calories definitely. The protein, she was like between 70 and 80 a day. You don't need to go above that. I said, I've been doing 90, 100, and she's like, that's fine, but you don't need to. If you don't hit 90 or 100 grams of protein a day, it's okay. 70, 80, acceptable. That's what I'd like to see you every day eat. If you don't go above 80, you're cool. If you do, that's cool too. Definitely making realistic, normal plates of food. Having that starch, people, just what I was thinking. You know, having a plate of normal, properly portioned variety of food on your plate. And she looked at some of my stats, and I've been trying to do that lately, but we went back a little bit. When she saw my 3 ounces of protein and a little vegetable, no. At this point, no. She was like, I'd like to see you 2 ounces of protein, a little mashed potatoes. Yes, mashed potatoes, starchy bullshit. Yes, brown rice, quinoa, pasta. Yes, I want to see that on your plate. Vegetable. Yes, I want to see proportions correct, measured out, of all different things on your plate, not just protein and a vegetable, or just protein. I've done that. I could say I ate 4 ounces of protein at one sitting, and that was it. Nothing else with it. Not sustainable. And exactly what I thought. Cannot sustain that for the rest. Cannot do that for the rest of your life. Not a healthy relationship with food. Not a healthy plate. And that's what this is all about. And she gave me a bunch of things here, and you know, it was kind of she gave me stuff that is really like normal foods to be eating, you know, suggestions here of like really normal foods, but keeping in mind the calories at a clip. She rather to definitely my nutritionalist believes in the interval eating. So 6 times a day, not letting your snacks be, like, let your snacks be 150 to 200, not really over that as a snack, where I had done that sometimes. And I really went over. I'm almost at 20 minutes, so I don't want to bland on. I'll make some more into my next video. A lot of good stuff. A lot of normal eating. But that was the message, you know, that I'm going to go forward with. It's not keeping yourself from... One thing that I'm going to leave you with that she said to me that really hit home. This surgery was not about taking away things to eat for the rest of your life. There was nothing about, she said to me, when you had the surgery, there was nothing we said we want you to give up, ever. She's like, I never said that, ever. She said, I wanted you to always have a healthy relationship with food and make right choices. And if you want a piece of pizza, have that piece of pizza. It's in your day. It's your calories. If you're collecting those calories and you had your protein, have the fucking piece of pizza. That's life. I'm going to leave you with that. Have a great week, and I'll see you next week, everyone.